Hi, I'm Jen Lehman, co-founder of Property Elite, chartered surveyor and APC assessor. At Property Elite, we provide training and support for the APC, Asset RICS and FRICS qualifications. We cover all routes, pathways and geographic regions via our team of specialist consultants and trained assessors. This also includes the senior professional, specialist, academic and direct entry routes. In this week's podcast, I take a look at 5 key topics relevant to the Inclusive Environments competency. This is a level 1 mandatory competency on all pathways, so it's essential listening for every single APC candidate. In their Essential Principles Guide, the Construction Industry Council define an inclusive environment as one that can be accessed and used safely, easily and with dignity by everybody. One that does not physically or socially segregate, discriminate or isolate, and one which is well designed, functional, effective and sustainable, and delivers an enhanced user experience. In the CABE Guide, the Principles of Inclusive Design is defined as making places everybody can use. This removes barriers creating undue effort and separation, enabling all users to participate equally, confidently and independently in everyday environments. So who is responsible for inclusive design? And really simply put, we all are. Surveyors are involved in all aspects of the property life cycle, including site acquisition, design, construction, management and use. Providing inclusive and accessible environments should be an integral part of everything we do. This shouldn't just be to comply with minimum requirements, legislation and regulations, but to go one step further, satisfying our ethical, moral and professional duty to consider all user needs in our advice and decision making. The CIC set out 5 key principles for inclusive design. 1. Placing people at the heart of the design process. 2. Acknowledging diversity and difference. 3. Offering choice where a single solution cannot accommodate all users. 4. Providing flexibility in use. And 5. Creating an environment that is convenient and enjoyable for all to use. Inclusive design can be achieved in a number of ways, and in this podcast, we're going to look at 5 key topics which relate to inclusive design and environments. So number 1, we're going to look at the Equality Act. The Equality Act 2010 replaced the Disability Discrimination Acts of 1995 and 2005. Section 20 states that disabled individuals should not face barriers to access premises. If a barrier is faced and the disabled person is put at a substantial disadvantage in relation to a non-disabled individual, then the service provider is under an obligation to make reasonable adjustments to facilitate access. This extends beyond the duty just to facilitate physical access, for example through ramps or lift access. It also therefore relates to the way in which services are provided, which could include auxiliary aids such as hearing loops or visual aids. Reasonable adjustments can be made through changing the way that things are done, changing physical features, or providing additional aids or services. Number 2 on the list today is the National Planning Policy Framework, and Section 8 of this says or relates to the provision of healthy, inclusive and safe places. These should promote health and well-being with a high standard of amenity for existing and future users. This emphasises that high-quality inclusive design is a key principle of sustainable development, going beyond just aesthetic factors. Number 3 is Approved Document M of the Building Regulations, which relates to the ease of access to and use of buildings, including facilities for disabled visitors or occupants, and the ability to move through a building easily, including to toilets and bathrooms. It's split into Volume 1 dwellings and Volume 2 buildings other than dwellings. It provides specific guidance on the safe degrees of pitch for ramps and steps, as well as building dimensions and facilities to facilitate wheelchair access. Number 4 is British Standard 8300, which was introduced in 2018 and is split into 2 parts, Part 1 and Part 2. It goes beyond the minimum requirements set out in Approved Document M. Part 1 provides guidance relating to the accessible, inclusive design of new public spaces. Part 2 relates to internal design to meet all user requirements, and it doesn't apply to individual residential dwellings. Examples of guidance include lighting external areas, ramp gradients and rise, accessible viewing for audience seating, sanitary facilities, WC layout and baby change facilities. Finally on the list today is the Changing Places campaign, which was launched in 2006 by the Changing Places Consortium. It aims to provide toilet facilities which are safe and comfortable and accessible for those who cannot use standard accessible toilet facilities. Changing Places toilets will have adequate space and facilities such as height adjustable changing benches and hoists. To meet a variety of user requirements, research suggests that over 250,000 people in the UK would benefit from the provision of Changing Places toilets, including users living with motor neurone disease, multiple sclerosis and cerebral palsy. So how can you learn more about inclusive environments? I always highly recommend checking out the free CPD module, which is 1 hour offered by the Design Council. Go to our website to find the link. The Design Council also have a really good extensive online resource hub that is free to access. That's it for today's podcast. Remember, you can book in your free 15-minute consultation via our website. We can also provide feedback on your referral or prelim review report. If you head to our website, you can also access our other free support resources, including our ebook guides, podcasts, videos, quizzes, blog, and CPD newsletter. We can't wait to work with you, so thank you for listening, and I'll see you next week.